We've been telling you about these headlines here that the president is considering easing travel restrictions further to Cuba. This is according to an official who's familiar with this discussion.
And we're going to be joined on the phone now by Bloomberg reporter Nicole Gaouette. She is in our Washington bureau. Nicole, thanks for joining us. Why change the policy now?
Well, you know, it's in keeping with the Obama administration's approach to foreign policy. They're really stressing the importance of people-to-people contacts, even with countries that the U.S. does not have great relations with. The idea is that a dialogue is better than cutting countries off, and doing it at lower levels means less pressure and lower stakes. So having increased cultural and educational contacts fits right in with that.
And so what business benefits might then there be from this expanded relationship?
Well, there are bound to be opportunities for American companies involved in cultural and educational fields. You earlier in the report were talking about agricultural exports to Cuba. And since the Congress loosened some restrictions on U.S. exports to Cuba in 2007, the U.S. has become the largest exporter of agricultural products and food to Cuba, and overall, Cuba's fifth largest trade partner. So it's not a story you hear much about, but it shows that there is real potential for companies going forward.
And Nicole, speaking of going forward, any other changes we might possibly see on the horizon?
Well, you know, people who think about Cuba for a living here in Washington, D.C. say that relationships between the U.S. and Cuba have gotten much better since Obama came into power, but that it's very hard to tell how things are going to proceed. Right now, we have Cuba in a very sort of interesting stage because we have a revitalized Fidel Castro who's almost at odds with his brother, the president, Raul Castro. Analysts describe Raul as pragmatic, as wanting to improve Cuba's economy and get its agricultural sector going, and they say that he's willing to do what is necessary to get that done. Right. He's not the diehard anti-American revolutionary that his brother Fidel is, and so that makes for an uncertain dynamic. Yeah. History also shows us that this initiative might not last beyond the Obama administration. Former President Bill Clinton put in place a similar easing for cultural and education-related travel that was repealed by by George Bush.
All right, Bloomberg's Nicole Gaouette joining us from Washington on this breaking news story. President Obama considering lifting some of those travel restrictions to Cuba, cultural, educational as well.
Right, but we also